The man alleging he's the son of Jay-Z's making more headlines than ever. Rymir Carter's been trading legal traps with the Roc Nation founder, with details spilling out across court docs surrounding his allegations. Here's everything we know about the person suing a billionaire media mogul.
The entire hip-hop world is shaking to its core right now, because one of the biggest secrets Jay-Z has ever tried to keep buried has just erupted straight into the public light. And there's no stopping the fallout. A judge has allegedly confirmed through a court-ordered paternity test that Rymir Carter is, in fact, Jay-Z's biological son. And from the second that ruling came down, insiders say Jay completely broke down backstage.
For one, Rymir's lawsuit alleges Jay's ignored repeated calls for a paternity test. Per Rymir and his godmother's legal filings, Rymir's mother Wanda allegedly engaging in a brief romance with a pre-famed Jay, who allegedly fathered Rymir with, at the time, a 16-year-old Wanda, who has since died. Rymir's team accusing Jay of tampering with legal proceedings, misusing his high-profile influence with public officials, along with claiming Jay's never outright denied he's Rymir's biological father. Meanwhile, Jay's new filing contends Rymir's lawsuit's just the latest in decades-long harassment. Inside the June 16th court docs obtained by E! News,
shouting, pacing, and losing his composure in a way nobody has ever seen before. This isn't just a scandal. This is legacy-shattering nuclear fallout, and it's happening in real time. For decades, people whispered about this story, brushing it off as nothing but rumors, because Jay-Z always denied it. He fought it hard, hitting the courts back in the early 2000s, sealing documents, burying testimonies, and spending millions to make sure it never reached the light of day. But now, the truth has finally slipped out. And here's where it gets even wilder.
Jay's attorney said the fabricated allegations and claims have been addressed and rejected in multiple other courts. Jay's team also saying they attempted contact with Rymir's godmother and co-plaintiff, but she hung up after they called to request more time to prepare their response. E! News has reached out to both Jay-Z and Rymir for comment, but has not yet.
Jay-Z, couple weeks, y'all. I want to let y'all know that I have not stopped my fight. I did withdraw my case. It's for a reason, y'all. It's not because I'm stopping with it or not going to refile it or anything like that. It's just a lot going on behind closed doors. Hey, we got to step back and play chess, not checkers, so.
Insiders claim Jay-Z's inner circle was warned this was coming, but they didn't believe it would actually stick. They thought Rymir didn't have the money, the lawyers, or the connections to ever win. But against all odds, he pushed through. The fact that a judge allegedly confirmed it has not only thrown Jay into chaos, but also sent shockwaves across the entire industry. We're talking about a man who's built his empire on being untouchable, unshakable, the blueprint of hip-hop itself. Now he's being dragged into the harshest spotlight imaginable. Not for his music, not for business moves, but for allegedly hiding a son for over 2 decades. The paternity case never truly reached the spotlight back then. It was buried under endless filings, motions, delays, and refusals.
E! News has reached out to Jay-Z's rep for comment about Rymir's withdrawal, but hasn't heard back. However, in the June 16th court filing obtained by E! News, attorneys for the Grammy winner, whose real name is Rymir Carter, slammed Rymir's paternity allegations. The documents read, the fabricated allegations and claims have been addressed and rejected in multiple other courts, adding that the federal lawsuit was just the latest in what Jay-Z's counsel described as decades-long harassment. Furthermore, Jay-Z's lawyers alleged Rymir's federal suit was not properly served, saying that the music mogul, who shares kids Blue Ivy and twins Rumi and Sir with wife Beyoncé,
Jay-Z allegedly refused to submit a DNA sample, dragging the legal process out for so long that most fans forgot it even existed. People assumed it was just another cash grab, another person chasing a billionaire for clout. But Rymir, the young man at the center of all this, never gave up. He kept fighting, kept speaking out, warning anyone who would listen.
Did not learn of its existence until 1 month after it was filed in May. In their response to Rymir's lawsuit, Jay-Z's attorney asked the court for additional time to evaluate the complaint and determine how to respond or otherwise plead. For his part, Rymir said in his complaint that he was not suing for reparational child support, but for damages related to emotional distress and reputational harm after Jay-Z allegedly committed fraud upon multiple courts, misrepresented facts, interfered with procedural due process, and exploited legal systems in multiple jurisdictions.
That one day the truth would explode. And now that day is here, and the industry is stunned. According to insiders close to the case, the judge personally reviewed the sealed paternity report and confirmed that the results prove Jay-Z is the biological father of Rymir. And when those words were read, Jay's entire image cracked right in front of everyone.
That Jay's your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like, it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do. Like, it's not, you don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot. I could take me being embarrassed. Like, this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair. I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now. And she been saying, Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling him Jay-Z. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young and, you know, had my little brother and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really...
The calm, controlled, and strategic mogul people knew vanished in seconds. Witnesses say he slammed his fist down on the table and muttered, "This ruins everything." And he wasn't exaggerating, because this isn't just a messy personal scandal. This is the kind of tidal wave that can sink an empire.
This was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know it is. This person is your father, and I just want you to know. And she continued to tell me that over the years and over the years and over the years, even until I was grown. He never tried to contact me in any type of way, and that's all I'm asking. Is like, as I said, I'm not chasing nobody. I'm not trying to do this to make somebody seem like a bad person. I'm not trying to make nobody seem like a bad person enough.
If true, it means Jay didn't just deny the claims. He allegedly lied to the law, signed false documents, and did everything in his power to bury the case. That points to something far bigger than fathering a child outside of marriage. Witnesses say Jay cut his lawyers off mid-sentence, demanding to know who leaked the results, because this was never supposed to hit the internet this fast. Reports claim he stormed out of the courtroom, refusing to face the press, and immediately started firing off calls to his crisis PR team. They had allegedly prepared a response plan years ago in case this day ever came, but even they weren't ready for the judge to go public so quickly with confirmation. The second the news broke, the internet went nuclear. Fans began dragging Jay-Z left and right, calling him out for abandoning a young man who, as people online pointed out, looks almost identical to a young Sean Carter.
A lot of people don't have their fathers because they scared to go out and search for them. And sometimes it only take a little search, go search. And if it's wrong, we're adults. Well, most of us adults, even for the teenagers, this being a role model for them, showing you can't go in the courtroom, and if you're doing everything correctly, you should be able to just get treated as equal as the other person.
Social media has been filled with side-by-side comparisons. The jawline, the eyebrows, even the trademark smirk. People are asking, how could he run from this truth when he built his entire career on authenticity? Meanwhile, Rymir was spotted teary-eyed outside the courthouse, speaking directly to cameras. He said he finally feels vindicated after years of being branded a liar and a gold digger, and his words cut deep. He explained that he never wanted Jay's money. He only wanted his father to acknowledge him. According to Rymir, Jay's refusal to step up messed up his schooling, his health, and even his entire sense of childhood, because he spent years chasing the fantasy of a dad who shut him out. Now the tide has shifted. People are rallying behind him. The same fans who once doubted him are now calling Jay a hypocrite, blasting him for rapping about being a father figure to the culture while allegedly abandoning his own blood. And behind the palace-like walls of the Carter empire, whispers are spreading fast. Beyoncé is reportedly furious. Sources claim she feels betrayed, not only because the perfect family image she's worked so hard to maintain is now cracked wide open, but also because this secret could drag her legacy into the fire too. Insiders claim Beyoncé has stopped speaking to Jay inside their home until she gets a full explanation, and that silence is louder than any argument. This doesn't just embarrass her as a wife, it threatens their entire billion-dollar empire built on the image of Black excellence, loyalty, and untouchable royalty.
Was terminated.
So what does it mean? Well, last month, Jay-Z's lawyer asked the court to impose sanctions against Busby for allegedly failing to do a reasonable investigation before filing the rape allegations against him. Jay-Z's lawyer even pointed out that Busby admitted to not even meeting Jane Doe before he signed off on her complaint. But Busby maintains the case was appropriately vetted. So while the move from Jay-Z's lawyers was surprising, it might also be a part of their strategy. At this time, neither Jay-Z, his legal team, or Tony Busby have publicly responded to this surprising move. But it's likely not the end of this ongoing legal saga, and we could hear more very soon. Let's unpack this further with attorney and litigator Rich Schoenstein. Rich, always great to see you. What's your reaction to this move done by Jay-Z's lawyer Alex Spiro? Are you surprised that he asked the judge to drop the motion for sanctioning Tony Busby?
For years, they've sold themselves as the ultimate Bond, Bonnie and Clyde, unbreakable. But now, that fairy tale is crumbling in real time. The Bayhive is in full attack mode, furious at Jay, demanding answers and threatening to boycott everything tied to him. From his liquor brand to Roc Nation's management deals, fans are swearing they won't spend a dime unless he publicly apologizes to Rymir and takes full responsibility, including decades of unpaid child support. And speaking of that child support, legal experts are warning this could cost Jay a fortune. If the ruling holds, he could be forced to pay back support dating all the way from Rymir's birth. That's more than 20 years of money, easily running into the millions. But that's just the financial hit. The real bombshell? If prosecutors believe Jay signed legal documents denying paternity while knowing the truth, that could cross into perjury, a criminal charge. Some experts are even whispering words like obstruction and fraud, and if that sticks, we're no longer talking about just civil damages. We're talking about criminal exposure that could drag him into courtrooms for years. Behind the scenes, Jay's lawyers are working overtime trying to contain the firestorm, but the music industry is holding its breath. Because if Jay goes down like this, it won't just destroy his brand, it'll shake the entire system. We're talking Live Nation, Tidal, Apple, the NFL, Barclays, and every corporation that's tied their image to his billionaire brand.
Well, I'm a little bit surprised because, asking for sanctions is a pretty aggressive move. And so to turn around and withdraw that motion is a notable retreat from that move. So I wasn't expecting it. And the question is, why did they do it? And I would assume that's what we're going to talk about.
Definitely. And I, also want to ask, this letter said they want to withdraw it without prejudice. Why is that part important?
Well, without prejudice just means they could bring it again. So you can either withdraw a motion with prejudice, which means it's resolved and we can't bring it again, or without prejudice, which means the court doesn't have to deal with this now.
Some sponsorships are already hitting pause, freezing campaigns that had Jay-Z's face front and center. Brands that once bragged about being tied to him are suddenly going silent. At the same time, fans online are dragging him non-stop, reposting every old lyric where Jay preached about responsibility, truth, fatherhood, and building a dynasty. They're calling him a fraud, labeling him two-faced, and even telling Beyoncé to walk away immediately before the mess gets any worse. But here's what's making this whole saga even more explosive. It's not just about denying the child. Rumors are swirling that Jay didn't stop there. He allegedly tried to intimidate witnesses, bury testimony, and seal records so he could avoid ever taking a DNA test. Some court watchers claim early filings show he even used fake addresses and an alias to dodge subpoenas, dragging the case on for years and years. If proven, that level of deception isn't just embarrassing, it's a legal nightmare. Experts say Rymir could sue not only for back child support, but also for emotional damages and defamation, since he's been painted publicly as a liar, chasing clout for nearly his entire life. And the personal fallout is hitting harder than anyone expected. Insiders say that after the hearing, Jay retreated into a private room and broke down in tears, something his own security staff had never seen. Jay-Z, the man who built an image on being unshakable, untouchable, and always 10 steps ahead, reportedly sat with his head in his hands, devastated. Witnesses were stunned. Because Jay-Z does not cry, Jay-Z does not crumble. But this scandal, it's cracking him wide open. The fear eating at him now is brutal. The idea that his carefully crafted legacy could be reduced to one ugly label. Imagine the words deadbeat dad stamped next to his name on Google forever, overshadowing his billions, his business empire.
But we're not waiving our rights. We're going to save the right to bring the motion again at a later time.
And, as you just mentioned before, I guess we're going to get into, why was this move even done in the first place? Now, Jay-Z's lawyer was previously scolded by that same judge for using inflammatory language against Tony Busby. But do you think that this is a part of a new strategy not to be harsh on the Jane Doe lawyer, instead hope to just get this suit dismissed instead?
Possibly. So that first thing you mentioned about the judge's reaction, I have three theories about why this was withdrawn. And the first one is exactly what you said.
His philanthropy, his activism. Instead of the billionaire mogul blueprint, he risked becoming another cautionary tale, proof that ego and secrets can undo even the most powerful empire. Meanwhile, social media has erupted into pure chaos. It's a non-stop frenzy. Every gossip site, every hip-hop blog, every mainstream outlet is blasting updates by the hour. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, it's wall-to-wall Jay-Z headlines. There are live panels, think pieces, and endless commentary dissecting his character. And the wildest part, people are dragging him with his own lyrics. From Song Cry to Family Feud, fans are reposting lines like, "Nobody wins when the family feuds," and pointing out the brutal irony, because now it's his own hidden family that's tearing his empire apart. Outside the Carter mansion, reporters have already set up camp, waiting for any kind of statement. But Jay, he's vanished from sight. Insiders say he's locked away in his private office, surrounded by crisis managers, sweating over a statement that feels impossible to craft. It has to satisfy Beyoncé, avoid incriminating him legally, and somehow convince the public he's not heartless. But the truth has already cut so deep that no amount of PR polish can erase it. Behind closed doors, Jay's legal team is in full panic mode. They're scrambling to file emergency motions, desperately trying to keep sealed documents hidden from the public eye. Why? Because the whispers are getting louder. People are saying there are private journals, old emails, maybe even confidential testimonies that could reveal more secrets. Some claim there could be mentions of past affairs or even other children hidden in the shadows. That's what has Jay's camp terrified. This ruling might not be the end. It could be the beginning of a floodgate swinging wide open. For years, people tried to pry into his private world and were shut down at every turn. But now, one ruling has cracked the door, and a tidal wave of lawsuits, exposés, and financial nightmares could come crashing through.
The judge has already indicated on the record that she's not thrilled with the way the attorneys are going at each other in this. And no judge is. No judge wants to make a case about conflict between the lawyers. Lawyers end up skirmishing all the time. They don't like each other all the time. They accuse each other of bad stuff all the time. And no judge wants the case to be about that. The judge wants the case to be about the merits, about the claims, about the parties, not about the lawyers. So she dressed down the lawyers at one point about this kind of activity, and it's possible that they have withdrawn the motion because they just don't think the judge is going to really consider it, given her predisposition. That's one possibility.
And what's your other possibility?
Jay is begging for privacy, but the public doesn't care anymore. They want answers. They want a statement. And above all, they want accountability. This isn't some wild rumor floating around the blogs anymore. This is a judge-confirmed legal truth stamped into history, and there's no erasing it. From now on, it's forever. For now, Jay remains hidden, locked away from the cameras while his lawyers scramble to draft the impossible. A public statement that won't anger Beyoncé, won't open him up to lawsuits, and won't make him look completely heartless. But sources say, behind those closed doors, he's losing it. He's reportedly yelling at his team, demanding some miracle solution that simply doesn't exist. Because no amount of spin, no carefully crafted PR campaign can turn back the clock on 20 years of silence. The truth about Rymir is out, and Jay-Z's worst nightmare is now his reality. A reality where the world knows he secretly abandoned his own son, leaving him to grow up without a father, all while presenting himself as the face of responsibility, loyalty, and family. The empire he built was supposed to be bulletproof, but one secret cracked it wide open, and now the fallout is rewriting his entire story. One thing is certain. From this moment on, Jay-Z's legacy will never be the same. Everything he's built, no matter how strong it looks, now carries the stain of this exposed truth. The legend of Sean Carter is forever divided into two eras, before the paternity scandal and after. And that after is only just beginning. But now I want to know what you think. Do you believe Jay-Z's empire can survive this? Or is this truly the scandal that ends it all? Sound off in the comments. And if you made it this far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this.